Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Snowboard Pro Camp live chat. Let me just fix this light really quick. It's a little bit too bright here. Here we go. Oh, that's better. Hey, what's up, guys? So thanks for joining me on the Snowboard Pro Camp live chat. Gonna be on here for the next hour, answering any of your questions, just hanging out, chatting. Thank you guys so much for joining. Back in Whistler now. So we were gone over in Europe for almost 2 weeks. Had an amazing trip over there, over in Austria on the Stubai Glacier. And before that, we were in Landgraf in the Netherlands. Shout out to everyone we met on the trip. It was so much fun meeting lots of fans from Europe and yeah, getting to snowboard in some really cool spots. Yeah, so thank you guys all for tuning in. Yesterday was a long travel day home. Traveled from Munich to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam, it was like a 10-hour flight to Vancouver, followed by about a 2-hour bus ride to Whistler. But overall, it was great, and working on some videos now from the trip. So just finished a pretty exciting video. It was definitely the best / worst day of the trip. Best park day for sure. So looking forward to seeing you guys check that out tonight. So gonna have that one up for you guys. But yeah, excited to be on here, talk to you guys, answer any of your questions. If you have any beginner snowboard questions, trick questions, intermediate stuff, questions about gear, just anything that's on your guys' mind, it'd be awesome. I'll do my best to answer your questions. And yeah, just stoked to be here with you guys. Also, let me know where you guys are watching from. I know that everyone is watching from somewhere different in the world, so it'd be awesome to hear where you guys are watching from. And shout out to anyone watching from Europe right now, because I know it's like the middle of the night for you guys. So thanks for staying up. Everyone in North America, thank you guys for joining. South America too. But yeah, if you guys are on the sort of Asian Pacific side, Australia, over New Zealand, anywhere around there, I know it's like first thing in the morning, so good morning to you guys. And yeah, it's also a super chat, so if you guys have a question that you absolutely need answering, definitely hit that super chat button. It's a good way to get your question answered, and yeah, great way to support the channel as well. So yeah, over 100 people on here already. Thanks for tuning in, guys. 8 likes, appreciate it. And we got a super chat already, so let's see what's going on with this. Austin Westbrook with the super chat. Thanks, man. He says, hey, Kevin, what do you think about the new Blackcomb gondola? Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on it. I'm excited to check it out. I used to love the Wizard Solar Coaster chairlift combo there. That was really nice too. But I'm excited about a gondola. As long as, you know, I do prefer riding on chairlifts because you're outside and, you know, you're just like enjoying the elements a bit more. But a gondola will be great for those stormy days or wet days. And yeah, any ways to get more, I think the more lifts here in Whistler, Blackcomb, the better, because it lets you access more of the mountain and spreads out the crowds a bit more too. So by spreading out the crowds, getting them on the gondolas, getting them on more chairlifts, then that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. And Jessica Pena says, what do you think about the new park from Blackcomb? There's a new park. I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet. Maybe tell me about it. All right, let me just say hello to a few of the people on here as well. First, Old Man Shredder, what's up? Thanks for joining in. Daniel Pincher, what's up? L-Stacker Adventures, thanks for watching. SkyzX. OG Kid TV. Awesome, guys. Thanks all for tuning in. Blunted 60 says he can't wait to get to Colorado. Haley Bamford, Julia Joy, James Berezny. Thank you guys for tuning in. JJ DJ and L Stacker. Oh, already got to L Stacker Adventures. Kevin Chen, Frank Keaton. Shout out Frank Keaton. Rob Gams tuning in. Bruh Sweet, what's up, man? Ugg is tuning in and asks, is it snowing in Whistler? I think the tops of the mountains have got some snow, but nothing much yet in the valley. It's raining here today. That's why I'm doing the live chat in my indoors in my little snowboard workshop because yeah, it's pouring rain out there right now. And I think we've got, what do we got here? We got another super chat from Nathan Roberts. Thanks to the support, man. He says, greeting from Bozeman, Montana. Awesome. I'm looking to buy goggles. I'm down to the Oakley Flight Deck XM or the Smith IO Chroma Pop or Prism. Thanks. Yeah, so if you're looking at the Oakley Flight Decks XM, those are the ones I'd recommend. I just think that those have the lenses, to me, I just prefer them a bit more than, but the Smith IOs are also really nice. It kind of depends on the size of your face too. If the Oakley Flight Deck XM fit your face, they're a little bit smaller than the regular ones. But yeah, if they fit, man, go for them. For me, those are a little bit too small. So if you have a bigger face, then maybe go for the Smith IOs. But yeah, those Smith Chroma Pop, those are nice as well. I know I talked to a lot of people about those who love them. But for me personally, I think, yeah, the Oakley Flight Decks with those, you get some of those lenses in there and it really pops the contrast and yeah, they're great in low light. So I'd go for the Flight Decks. And AJ Torres with the super chat as well. And AJ says, are you selling any of your old gear? I may be selling it, but only within Whistler. It's too expensive to send gear out for, especially like used gear. Here in Canada, like if sending a snowboard across the country or to a different country can cost hundreds of dollars. So it's not really worth it to sell old gear outside of Canada. So I am selling some of my old gear, but all kind of like just within Whistler. And Old Man Shredder with the Taco Fund. Thanks, Old Man Shredder. And he says, how's TJ's shoulder? Yeah, if you guys haven't seen TJ's Instagram, at Board Archive, he posted up a short clip of he fell on a rail, like a 19 staircase rail, and landed on his shoulder. So he's got a slight AC joint separation. I think it's a mild one, like between a 1 and 2, the doctor said. So basically like the tendon that holds your clavicle to your shoulder has been stretched from that impact. So he's got a little bit of recovery to do, a little bit of like rehab and not landing on his shoulder for a while, but I think he'll be fine for snowboarding for opening day. And Gavin Collins with the support. Thanks, Gavin. And he says, best all-around board, bindings and boots. I already have Burton Process and Scott Stevens board from Arkansas. Awesome, man. Best all-around board, bindings, and boots. If I was just going to go for one setup, and I actually do have this board. It's not here with me right now, but I have bought this board. It's the Capita DOA. I feel like that's like a great all-around board. It's stiff enough that you can ride it all mountain, but then it's playful enough too that you can take it into the park. And so yeah, I'd go Capita DOA. I would go for the Union, maybe the Union Force or Union Strata bindings. Maybe I'd go with the Union Strata bindings, yeah. Get those ones. And then, and the boots too. The boots is tough. Personally for me, I've had a few different boots over the years, but the 32 Team 2s, those are my favorite. Yeah, I got those boots right up. There they are. So I'd go with that combo. I think that's a pretty fun combo that you could just kind of do everything with. And Marcos Saba with the super chat. Thanks, Marcos. No question or comment, just some support there. Appreciate that. And let's see. Any questions, hit me up, man. Jeppy1 says, can you go to Park City this season? Yeah, Park City would be cool. Would love to check it out. No plans at the moment, but maybe we will. And Rob Gams, hey, Kevin, what do you think of Evo buying 5 new locations in Whistler? Is that why TJ moved there? Awesome. They bought 5 locations? Wow. I heard that they bought one place. So they must have bought like a whole group of like a chain of snowboard shops here in Whistler. I think it's I think it's like whatever. I don't know the details. We'll see what happens. I feel like it's probably better just having, not having one company own 5, but 5 separate companies. But Evo I saw their shop in Denver where TJ worked, and it was a really cool, well put together store. Lots of great products, lots of all kinds of sports too, not just snowboarding, but they had all the bike stuff in the summer and all kinds of different extreme sports type gear there. So I'm stoked to see some changes. Sure, why not? And Cheyenne says, plan to ride the 2019 Arbor Westmark this year. I do still have that board. I don't have the 2019 version, but I'll probably try it out. I had a really good time on the Westmark. I like the grip tech along the edge there, that just little extra hold, those extra bumps along the edge there to dig into some ice. If I do any East Coast riding, if I'm riding any ice, I would definitely get something with grip tech or with magnet traction. But yeah, the Westmark was a fun one. And Soap with the super chat. Thanks, Soap. Come to the opening day at COP so we could meet. Yeah, I would love to get to COP. If you guys don't know, it's a resort in Alberta, right? It's kind of like on the BC-Alberta border, I believe. And yeah, I haven't been there before, but I've heard lots of good things. I've had some friends that have done seasons there. And yeah, maybe we'll make it out. All right. Reds Cap says, Evo bought Whistler Village Sports. All right, good to know. Marco says, what's the best board for Hakuba, Japan? So the best kind of board for Japan would be something that is made for powder. Where's my powder board? I'm just gonna grab it quickly, guys. So that kind of shape I think is pretty good for powder. Big fat nose so that it floats. And then you've got this kind of like swallowtail design cut through that powder. Yeah, something like that. That shape is key to having like fat nose, smaller tail, all those kinds of things. Help you float in that Japanese snow. All right, I think we got a few more super chats. All right, so Austin Westbrook, also, will you be coming to California again? Yeah, we'll let you know. We're kind of looking at Bear Mountain, actually, not far from LA. Well, I think it's a few hours from LA, but it's more in Southern California. So we may be hitting up Bear. I've always heard great things about the park there. It's kind of like that top to bottom park setup. So we'd be pretty stoked to check out Bear Mountain. Mammoth was, excuse me guys, Mammoth was great too, but it's always fun to check out new spots. And Rashid Abiola with the super chat, thanks for the support. I was in Whistler last season, this year hitting up Banff, Lake Louise, and Revelstoke. Thoughts on the Canadian Rockies? Yeah, well, I've heard that Revelstoke has some of the best snow in the world, some of the best powder. It's a fairly advanced mountain too, so not a lot of like beginner terrain. It's more like intermediate and advanced type terrain. But I've heard, yeah, the snow's great there and consistently good. I think it's a steeper mountain. There's not a ton of chairlifts on Revelstoke to like take you into all the different areas. So you may have to do some, I think a lot of people do some hiking there. So if you're hiking, maybe make sure you got lots of the safety gear you need. But yes, it seems pretty cool. I think TJ and I were gonna do a Revelstoke trip this year, as well as a Banff Lake Louise trip. I've heard less about Banff and Lake Louise. I feel like it's more of a family-friendly resort, those spots, but still have some great snow, some colder temperatures than we have here in Whistler. So it gets a fair bit colder, but again, some good powder as well. And Dominic with a request, love the channel, review the LibTech Orca. I'm sure TJ is going to get on that for sure. And yeah, thanks for the love, man. Kyle Lanning with the super chat. So Steven's Pass is on the Epic and Crystal Mountain is on the Icon. Side trip to Washington on your way to Bachelor. Also, how was meeting Travis Rice? Some good questions there, man. Yeah, meeting Travis Rice was cool. Only got to talk to him for a minute. He was working on some kind of art piece at this industry party type thing. We just stopped in for like 10 minutes to check it out, and yeah, got to just quickly meet Travis Rice, talk to him for a minute, and yeah, he was a cool guy. He seemed very what did he seem like? He seemed very enthusiastic. He was an enthusiastic, friendly guy, so that was awesome. And yeah, he's been a guy that I've been watching snowboard for the last like 15 years. So he's an inspiring dude. It was pretty cool. And yeah, so I've bought in the Epic and Icon passes, so I can definitely hit up Stevens Pass and Crystal Mountain. So hopefully we get there this year. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted if we're going down that way, Kyle. And Sunshine Cult with the super chat, $10. Thank you so much. And he says, I'm developing chest packs for casual resort riding, and my prototypes are coming along well. Could I possibly send you guys a couple to try out? Oh, very interesting. Developing chest packs for casual resort riding, and my prototypes. A chest pack, like a backpack for your chest. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So just get in touch with me, Sunshine Cult. Interesting YouTube name. It's snowboardprocamp@gmail.com. So just hit me up on there, man. Cool, guys. So, and Cheyenne wants to know if we're going to Colorado this year. Would be great. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. I know TJ is kind of missing home, so we could do a Colorado trip. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. And Haley says, how do I get comfortable with speed? I'm scared of wiping out and hurting myself. Yeah, that's not good. So the way you become comfortable with speed is by being more confident with your control. So as you turn, the more confident you get with controlling your speed and controlling around each turn, the more you'll be able to ride with more speed. So think about each turn, spraying a little bit of snow out the side on your heels and then evenly on your toes. And the more that you can ride and feel in control by controlling your speed, the faster you'll feel like you can go. And also try to look a little bit ahead too, so that you can kind of like look down and then plan on, the places where you can pick up some speed and then where you should slow yourself down. Because the more that you can kind of look ahead and see what's coming, the more confidence you'll have too. Thanks, Reds Catman. Appreciate it. And Max Green coming back to New Zealand soon. Yeah, soonish, probably next summer. So the next summer for North America, so around July, August, September time, I think we are planning on going back to New Zealand for sure. Ride with David Jones, ride at Cardrona, get down there. We had such a good time in New Zealand. Those mountains were incredible. So like massive mountains, no trees, so you get these really cool views in every direction. Yeah, I love New Zealand. Probably spend a lot of time in Wanaka this time as well. Last time we spent more time in Queenstown. Queenstown's really fun, but it's more of like the tourist town. And Wanaka is more of the chill, laid back sort of place where you can spend a month or two. So if we get back to New Zealand, I think we'll be staying in Wanaka, riding at Cardrona, and hanging out, making videos with David Jones too. So definitely looking forward to getting back there. Jeff Cabralda with a super chat. Thanks, Jeff. He says, you in town December 1st. Are you excited for the new Emerald Chair? Yeah, I'm excited for the new Emerald Chair on Whistler Mountain as well. I will be here on December 1st, and I don't know if I'm snowboarding that day. I probably will be. But yeah, so the Emerald Chair used to be just like a standard 4-seater chairlift, and I think now it's a 6 or an 8. Maybe it's an 8. I'm not sure. Maybe let me know. But yeah, I think it's a great thing. That was definitely the busiest chair on Whistler and Blackcomb. So now that they've added more seats to it, hopefully that line will be shorter and there'll be more people sitting on the chair instead of waiting in line. So that's great. Red's Cap saying if he gets the Icon Pass, he's going to check out Revelstoke. Very cool. Yeah, it's a good spot. And Kim San Lim with the super chat. Thanks so much. He says, great to catch up on the last day in Perisher. Don't miss out on Rizutsu Resort when you are in Niseko. Shout out to my friend Tin and Joyce. Awesome. Yeah, Kim, good to meet you. Yeah, in Perisher. That was such a fun day. It was, the snow was great. The park was really good. And it was, yeah, so much fun. We did that live chat that day as well. So we had fans coming up. And then it was so cool meeting up with you and other fans too, like inside the like little chalet spot there. So such a fun day. Yeah, good to meet you, and hopefully see you back in Australia or maybe in Japan this year. So let's yeah, well, I can't wait to get back to Japan. That's going to be such a fun trip. And Old Man Shredder with another super chat. He says, any podcast planned soon? Yeah, I think this weekend we're going to try to get the podcast going again. So if you guys haven't seen it, so we did a podcast. It was maybe 2 weeks ago. And it was myself, TJ, Chris, and also, why am I drawing a blank? But anyway, there was 4 of us doing the podcast at Comore. Andreas too. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, we were in Comore and it was a really fun time. So we're going to do the podcast again. Hopefully this weekend. I'm going to contact Andreas and Chris and see if they're free this weekend. Oh, Red says Doug is here too. Shout out Doug. Doug's in a few videos. He's in the jump progression with Doug video. Daniel Pincher with the super chat. Hey, Kevin, what's the drive like from Vancouver to Whistler? Thinking of moving there after I finish my studies. Hashtag taco fun. Thanks, man. The drive is pretty mellow, actually. The first half of it is, I think, the harder of the two halves. So from Vancouver to Squamish, it's quite like windy. The road's quite windy. So you gotta, I would say when you're new to that drive, take it easy the first half for sure. There's a few passing lanes. So if you're driving on the slower side, just move over, let people pass. And yeah, just that first half is really windy. But then after Squamish, it kind of opens up a bit and it's a bit more of a mellow drive. So not as difficult in terms of having to pay like so much attention because of how windy that first half is. But yeah, it's a beautiful drive. It's definitely one of the nicest drives in the world. Just driving up the Sea to Sky Highway there and you've got amazing views of the ocean. You got mountain views. Yeah, it's really cool. I did that drive today, actually. I had to go down to the city to get winter tires for my car. So I was in North Vancouver getting some new tires and then drove back today. And Willem says, when will you come to New Zealand next year? Will you be in the North Island at all? I don't know, maybe the North Island. I don't know. Possibly. And Greg with the super chat and just says sending super chat. Thanks, Greg. And he says, just support you guys. If you're coming back to the Alps this year, you should head to Les Arcs. Yeah, that would be cool to hit up Les Arcs for sure. Yeah, so many spots every time we go back to Europe, we're just learning more and more about all the different spots to hit. And I feel like there's just dozens and dozens of amazing places, or more, like hundreds of amazing places in the Alps to hit. So each year we're gonna have to come back and check out a few of the spots. So maybe Les Arcs will be one of them. Awesome, guys. Sorry, can't get to all your guys' questions. Doing my best here. Angry Snowboarder's on here. What's up, Angry Snowboarder? If you guys haven't yet, check out Angry Snowboarder's YouTube channel as well. They're putting out snowboard vids on all kinds of different topics. They got top 5 videos. They've got Kevin Carve It, another Kevin, not me, but there's a Kevin on there carving, and all kinds of just massive boards and weird shapes, and lots of really cool info just about snowboarding. They do a podcast as well, so check out the Angry Snowboarder on YouTube. And yeah, Northern Italy, that would be baller. Up in the Dolomites and just checking out some of those massive resorts. And Ethan says, what's your favorite resort in the Denver area? Yeah, I guess I would say it would be Keystone. Keystone was a really fun spot, had some great days there. But I definitely need to spend more time in Colorado riding. There's so many good spots around Colorado. And I was only there for a couple weeks. Had some fun park days in Keystone some fun park days there and some good days in the trees. Actually, on the closing day at Keystone, I think they had like over 50 centimeters, and it was a crazy, crazy powder day. And Old Man Shredder wants to know more about the river surfing. Yeah, the river surfing in Munich was intense. So we turned up to the river, we saw the people surfing. It looked like so much fun, and just called around. We found that the Santo Loco board shop rented out wetsuits and boards. So we went straight there, drove over. It was really pretty difficult driving around Munich because of the traffic, and then on top of that, finding parking. But yeah, loaded the surfboards into the car, and then yeah, there's two spots you can do river surfing there. Spot 1, which is the large one, and then there's a second spot, spot 2, which is much smaller, much more safe. So we went to the second one. And then it was pretty intense because you had to really commit jumping in. It was like you took like 3 steps along this narrow piece of cement and then threw the board and tried to hop onto it. I think the key was actually jumping far enough out that you were jumping past the white water. So once you were out past the white water on the board, then that was where like it was more smooth. But on a board on water is much different. It's not like snowboarding where you keep your weight kind of level or even a little bit forward. You had to kind of be on the back foot and then kind of bouncing the front foot up and down in the wave, kind of depending on the speed and all kinds of stuff. So it was difficult, but it was really fun, and falling didn't hurt. The water wasn't like too cold. It was actually pretty refreshing. And it was really addictive. I definitely want to go back to Munich again and give it another try. Angry Snowboarder, we want to have a carve-off between you and Kevin. All right, let's do it. Can Kevin out-carve Kevin? Let's do that video. That'll be a fun one. And Nars Brandt says, in your opinion, is there a big difference between how rocker and camber snowboards handle? Yeah, big difference there. So in general, there's big differences. It's funny now, but now, like you do get some rocker boards that are more stiff, so they can behave more like a camber, and vice versa. Like you can get camber boards that are really soft, and so you can kind of get some play in between. But in general, there is a big difference between camber and rocker. So the rocker board, so the center is the point that's touching the most, and then the tips lift up. And what that just creates is a board that's very quick to turn, and you get more of that like catch-free feel. So as you're turning, you don't feel like you're gonna catch your like nose or tail edge as it's coming around. It's very forgiving in that way. But at the same time, you're sacrificing some stability. So you don't feel as stable. And when you are on, say, like a long flat run, then it can be difficult to kind of like get onto your edge and feel in control. But the positive side of that is that you can make quick turns. It's very it's more catch free, and it's easier to press and kind of do some park stuff with. So those are some of the pros, and some of the pros and cons. But then versus the camber board, which has the highest point in the center, and it starts to lower down towards the tips. And with the camber, you're gonna get more control because more of the entire edge is in contact with the snow. So as you're riding a camber board, you just feel more in control. You can feel that the snow is coming into contact with the entire length of the board. But then on sometimes when you're making those quick turns, you can kind of feel maybe the edge catch a little bit if you don't fully commit to the turn. So it's like you're risking a little bit of catchiness if your turns aren't precise. So that's the downside, but the pro is that you have more control for riding at high speeds and things like that. So yeah, big differences. It depends on your style of riding, which kind of board you want to get. All right, thanks again for all your questions, guys. You guys are killing it. And just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. All right. Bark says, what's the first trick you learned? That's a good question. I'm sure my first trick was like an indie grab. I think it was probably just one of the easier grabs, just doing a straight air and grabbing my board. So I think, yeah, it's a nice little grab. It's a good first trick. You don't have to worry about 180s. You got to worry about landing switch or taking off switch. With the indie grab, with a grab in general, it's just about getting a bit of air and grabbing your board. Anything and everything says, hey Kevin, whatever happened to Chris? Chris, he's still in Whistler, rehabbing his knee, and hopefully he is on the podcast this weekend. He was on the last podcast, so if you missed Chris, check out the podcast we did a couple weeks ago. And Chaotic Assassin says, what is a good beginner snowboard? Yeah, good beginner snowboard. Actually, it's one of the reasons I picked up the Capita Horoscope. And the reason that I think that's a good beginner board, first, the price is on the lower end. So I think it's around like $300, $350. And it also has the combination of both camber and rocker. So it's got actually it's like flat camber under your feet. So it's gonna give you some stability under and between your feet. And then past your feet, there's a little bit of rocker helping it to be a little bit more catch-free. So you get that combination of camber, or zero camber for the stability, and then you get some rocker towards the tips, which makes it a little less catchy. So I think it's a good beginner board. And Adam, Bad Riders, what's up, Adam? Thanks for the support, man. He says, hey, Kev, good to see you back in the basement. My off season is in full swing, and I hope your season is killer. Thanks, man. When's the next podcast dropping? I love all these podcast questions. So yeah, we're gonna try to film the podcast this weekend, and so would hopefully get it up early next week. So look for it on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, that'll be the goal. We do have a few videos to still upload though from the Stubai Glacier. So hopefully get all the videos from the Europe trip up this weekend, and then get a podcast filmed and recorded, and then yeah, get that up early next week. And Bark says, what's the board called on the left? On the left, what's on my left? On this side? So that's the Burton Deep Thinker. So that's like my all mountain board this year. It's got some like camber set back towards the tail and some rocker towards the nose. So it's kind of like a directional camber board. And yeah, the rocker is gonna make it float a bit better in powder. So it's just gonna be, it's like a good all mountain. You can ride it on the runs or take it off piste and into some powder or trees. So pretty stoked on that one. Rich Bradway says, easy grab tricks. I think, yeah, to start, the easiest one is the indie grab. So that's your left hand. Is it always the left hand? I guess it's not always your left hand. So it's your backhand grabs on your toe edge between the bindings. I feel like that's probably the easiest. And then I think for me, a nose grab is pretty easy. Just grabbing front hand, grabbing the nose. What else? You can do a mute grab, so that your front hand grabs between your bindings on your toes. It's a fairly easy one as well. There's 3 to get you started. And Joseph wants to know, will you switch to step-ons soon? No plans on switching to step-ons. They're not for me. I feel like I had some good days on the step-ons, but I'm just gonna stick with the traditional bindings. All right, so Mystery Guy says, come see me at work for free coffee and food for you. Mystery Guy, where's your mystery spot? Where do you work, man? I want some free coffee. And we got a super chat from Michael Roberts. Thanks so much, 500 yen. Hey Kevin, how do you get those cool chase cam shots with the GoPro? Looks like the cameraman is riding backwards while the subject is chasing. Yeah, so those shots, I mostly do them, I guess pretty much all of them with TJ, and we get those just from practicing. We got a pole with a gimbal with the Karma grip at the end with the GoPro on it. And we usually adjust the GoPro so that it's like looking uphill a little bit. And the person in front is just riding with their arm kind of straight out, pointing the pole at the person with the gimbal on, which is actually, it's a little bit heavy, but once you get some practice doing it, so the backhand's holding it. And so yeah, the cameraman is kind of riding, trying to watch where they're going, and once in a while checking back to make sure that the camera is actually pointed at the person. And usually ahead of time, we talk a little bit to plan out what the run is gonna be. So, you know, we'll say like, I'm going down this way, I'm gonna turn left, or I'm gonna hit that jump, or hit this rail, or whatever it is, or go between those trees. And we also usually too, we talk about how fast we're gonna go. If we're gonna go like 100% all out, or if we're gonna ride at, you know, like 80%, or if we're riding through trees, we might ride at like 60%, because it's just, it can be too hard for the cameraman, the person in front, just to be riding at 100% sometimes and filming. So we usually tone down the riding a little bit, depending on the conditions though. Sometimes we just go at 100%. But yeah, it's a challenge, but TJ and I were getting pretty good just from all the practice of doing it. And it's really fun. A lot of people ask, like, do you guys ever just like snowboard without the cameras? And it's actually just a lot of fun to snowboard and film at the same time. So yeah, those days that are the most fun, I feel like I would kind of be bummed if I didn't have the cameras out that day. Those are the days we want to share the most. All right. And Red's Cap says, Kevin, should I still get the Karma grip even if I have the GoPro 7 Black? Reggie, I think you're ruining my next video. So I'm actually making a video coming up soon, and I talk about, the GoPro 7. I picked up 2 GoPro 7s, and we have the Karma grip from last year. And so one of the claims that people make about the GoPro 7 is that the stabilization is actually so good that you may not need the Karma grip for it, which is kind of true. It is the GoPro 7 the stabilizer that's built in is actually really, really good. You got to make sure you turn it on. I actually made the mistake of not having the stabilization on one day. But when the GoPro, when the stabilizer is on, it's so smooth. The GoPro 6 had a good stabilizer on it, but the GoPro 7 actually takes it up like 2 or 3 notches. makes really smooth video. And I think yeah, Reggie, I don't think you need the Karma Grip for the 7. I think you're good. The Karma Grip, it does make it is more smooth with the Karma Grip, and you get the horizon ends up staying perfectly level too with the Karma Grip, but which is nice. But I feel like for, you know, making videos for fun and just even for, you know, us trying to make videos every day and make it into a living, I feel like a lot of days now we're probably going to leave the Karma Grip at home because, yeah, that's GoPro 7 stabilization is that good. Adam Bad Riders, hey Kev, where's the rest of your quiver? Yeah, I'm surrounded by snowboards, Adam. I got a bunch around here. I just didn't want to have too many boards in the background. Yeah, guys, another video that I've got coming up soon for you guys, I'm pretty stoked to share it with you, is my 2019 gear list. So a lot of this gear is on that list and a few other things as well. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked on the 2019 gear list. Mystery Guy, what's your favorite snowboarding shop in Whistler? Ooh, I don't want to call a favorite. Each snowboard shop has their own individual purpose. My favorite place, probably my favorite place for getting some accessories and a few pieces of outerwear is the Circle. They usually carry some of the stuff that the other shops don't. Comore is one of my favorite spots for some of the hard gear, like the boards and boots and bindings and things. Plus, Andreas works there. If you guys are in Whistler, go see Andreas in Comore. And but Showcase is also really cool. It's got between Showcase and Comore for the hard goods. They each have sort of like some things that the other shop doesn't. So those are a few of my favorites. And David wants to know, when is the best time to visit Whistler? It's always a good time to visit Whistler. It's the weather's always changing. Sometimes in November we'll get 4 or 5 meters of snow, and then maybe the next month, December, maybe we get none, and then January we get another 5 meters. It's always changing. It's always different. So there's no one month that's really consistent. You know, obviously March, April it starts to get warmer, but I've actually had some of my best powder days in March. So, you know, maybe it can be heavier snow, but when you get to the tops of the mountain, that's when it usually stays colder and the powder's good. So there's not really any best time. Last couple of years on opening day too, we've had like 40, 50 centimeter pow days on opening weekends. So it's always a gamble coming to Whistler. And Chandler's watching from the Czech Republic. Awesome. Thanks for watching all the way from Europe. It must be the middle of the night for you, man. And Marlene says, hi, Kevin, I'm just a beginner in snowboarding. Do you have any tips to ride faster? Do you just keep practicing turns? Yeah, Marlene, the more you practice your turns and the more confident you feel with both your heels and toes, the faster you'll feel like you can go. And the way to think about it too is that when you're a beginner, most of the time when you're controlling your speed, you're sort of like spraying the snow straight down the hill. Like your board is slowing you down the most when you're actually have your edge like across the hill. And then as you start to go from beginner to more intermediate and advanced, that's when you start using your edges to kind of push the snow out the sides. And the more that you can push the snow out the sides on each turn, that's when you can kind of keep your board pointed more straight down the hill, pick up more speed, and just, yeah, go faster and faster from there. But yeah, the whole point of snowboarding is, you know, it would be fun to just be able to go straight the whole time and just turn and go where you want, not worry about speed. But yeah, that'll come with just learning how to control your speed with each turn and be more confident that way. And we've got Osvaldo with the super chat. Thanks, Osvaldo. Do you think the Jones flagship would be stable at 159 compared to 164? That kind of just depends on like your weight, basically. It's like if your weight puts you kind of in between those two sizes, if you get the board that's on the smaller side of your weight scale, then you're gonna have a little bit less stability. But if you get the board that's a little bit on the like a little bit too big for you, then you're gonna have more stability. So definitely like the bigger, the more stable, but you don't wanna get a board that's way too big. It's if the 159 is at the upper end of your weight scale, then get the 159. But yeah, it's like if you're in between those two, if you choose a smaller board, then you're sacrificing a little bit of stability, I think. And Jude Campbell is checking in from Australia. Awesome, Jude. Thanks for watching. Callum wants to know if I've ever skied. Yeah, I actually started skiing when I was like 12 or 13. I skied for a couple of years, and then when I saw people snowboarding, I just made the switch. And when I was teaching snowboarding, actually, I used to teach a few ski lessons as well, just to make some extra money. So it was kind of a good thing to go back and forth between. But once I really got passionate about snowboarding, I just fully committed, and it was just too expensive too to try to keep up with both sets of gear. It was much easier just to fully commit to snowboarding. And Shano67, hey Kevin, was just wondering what board has looked the most impressive from this season? This upcoming season, what board am I most impressed with? I don't know which one's the most, but both. I'm both impressed with the Deep Thinker and the Capita DOA. Looking forward to riding both of those boards more this season. To be honest, so last week when we were on the Stubai Glacier, the free riding, it was very icy. So the Deep Thinker, I didn't really give it a fair chance because it was just more like survival up there for the free riding. And then in the park, I was riding the Capita DOA, and it was really fun in the park. But again, it was like a very short park. There weren't any jumps, and it didn't really get to give that board like a real honest try. So once I get more time on those boards, I'll give you some more feedback. But last season, I did get to ride both of them as well, and yeah, that's why I bought those boards, because I think they're pretty great. And Makani is heading to Whistler from Hawaii early December for 10 days, praying for big November dumps. What's the snowmaking like, if not? So the snowmaking on Whistler and Blackcomb, they've got like dozens and maybe even hundreds of snowmaking machines up there. So you start to see them making snow once it's cold enough. They should actually be making snow soon. Like they'll be making snow soon up there. So even if there's no natural snow, they're definitely going to be making lots of snow. And depending on the conditions, they'll for sure have at least a couple of runs open for the opening weekend. And then past that, just kind of depends on the natural snow. But yeah, they'll have runs open for sure with the snowmaking. And Laukrai with the super chat, thanks for the support. When I bought my board, I was about 170 pounds and I got a 158. Over the summer, I lost about 25 pounds. Is the 158 too much to handle now? Kind of depends on your riding style. If you are just into like the all mountain free ride type of riding, then I think the 158 should be fine. It may be just a little bit big for your weight, but in terms of like a good free ride all mountain board, you're pretty good. But if you're into the park and a lot of park stuff and jibbing and things like that, then it may be a little bit big for you. So yeah, I would consider that. If you're really working and progressing on your park skills, then how much do you weigh again? So now you are down to like 145 pounds. It could be a little bit big if you're a park rider. But yeah, good job on that. That's pretty cool to hear that you've lost some weight. Nice going. And Haley says, is it worth buying a season's pass for Mount Washington here on the island? Or should I pay it by ear and see play it by ear and see how much snow we get? No, I would just buy it. Because I feel like one of the things is like, if you go and buy individual passes, then if you buy a pass for one day and the snow's not good, you kind of like regret it. But if you buy that season's pass and you go up and the snow's not great, you think to yourself, oh, at least I'm getting the most of the season's pass. So buy a season's pass, go as much as you can. And I think at Mount Washington, you guys get really consistent like snowfalls and quite a bit. So, you know, it's a gamble every year. So what are you never going to buy a season's pass just in case? I would just go for it. And sometimes too, if the season's really terrible, the resort tries to do something for the season pass holders. I know in Vancouver a few years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, everyone that bought a season's pass for the local mountains, because the season was so bad, they actually just gave them a free season's pass for the next year too. So sometimes resorts will do stuff like that. But I would just buy the pass for sure. And Hamish says, I'm going to Whistler at the end of the year. Any tips? Yeah, any tips? I would say at the end of the year, Christmas is gonna be pretty busy up there. So tips would be to try to find the least busy chairs. I feel like Blackcomb is a little bit less busy than Whistler. And I don't know, plan on doing lots of riding. The runs are really long. I don't know. Are you going with your family? I'm sure if you're staying in the village, you're not gonna have to worry about traffic or anything. I don't know. Tips, it's gonna be great, man. Just explore the mountains and yeah, ride with friends and yeah, stay with somebody to be safe, and only go off the runs if you know where you're going too. And Lokrai asks, I also had to buy new pants. Just a beginner, so no more than a couple inches off the snow. I also had to buy new pants. I think, yeah, if your pants are, I'm not really sure about that question. Let's move on. Alexander, I want to snowboard. Should I go to a local shop to get gear? Yeah, that can be an awesome idea. If you go to a local shop and if you need to like ask questions and people can help you, or if, yeah, going into a local shop sometimes can give you good ideas of like the type of gear you want. For myself, like I went around Whistler, I went to every shop just like looking at the different gear. I had in mind already what I wanted, but I just wanted to look around at all the stuff just to make sure that what I was actually getting was what I really wanted. So yeah, it can be great. Go check out your local shop. Yeah, for sure. And Michael Roberts with the super chat. Thanks, Michael. All up in your chat today. On the fence about getting some Malavitas from my deep thinker. I prefer very responsive bindings like cartels. Thoughts? If you want really responsive bindings, then go for the Genesis. Why not the Genesis? Those are much stiffer than both of those. But I would say, so the cartels are stiffer than the Malavitas. You know, between the Malavitas and the cartels, they're very similar. So if you like that more responsive feeling of riding, and the cartels are a stiffer binding, then go for the cartels. Definitely, the thing I love about both those bindings, if the cartels have it, I heard somebody tell me that they do, but that heel, that ankle strap, the hammock ankle strap, is my favorite. So that gives me, in my opinion, that gives me the most like support and responsiveness because it just like grips onto your boot so well. So I don't know, both those bindings are great. Go for if you like the cartels, get the cartels. If you want to try something new, get the Malavitas. I've gone back and forth between both. So yes, try out both. Maybe get the Genesis. And SH with the super chat. How much weed did you smoke to get your eyes so red? Guys, that's not weed. That is jet lag. So I was traveling maybe 18 hours yesterday, and what time is it? So normally the last couple weeks I've been in Europe going to bed right about now or a couple hours ago. So that's just jet lag right there. And 10 Eski says, hey Kevin, wondering what's your take on boas versus regular laces or even fast laces? So of those three, I prefer the regular laces. I just find that it's not that big of a deal for me to just tie up regular laces. I've been doing it for so many years that it's just easy and there's no issues. If you have trouble like getting regular laces tight, then maybe check out the boas or the Speed Zone laces. But for me, so in the past, I had the speed zones. They work really well in terms of getting your boots tight quickly, but I've had trouble with those Speed Zone laces breaking. I had the Burton Ions, and I think I broke the Speed Zones like 4 times. And yeah, they're sort of like, their whole thing is like unbreakable New England rope and all this stuff. And I broke them like 4 times. So that was kind of just annoying. So in that case, I wish I had the traditional laces. You can just put a new lace in there and you're all good. But yeah, maybe if, I don't know why they kept breaking. Maybe I was just over tightening. And then with the boas, I thought the boas were strange. I just didn't like the feel. I felt like it was too restrictive. It may have not just been the boas' fault. It could have been, maybe it was the boot I chose. But yeah, the boas didn't feel right to me. So I just like the traditional laces. I find like I can get them tight easily. And then if something breaks, it's so easy to just trade out that lace. But I do understand why people get the Speed Zone and the boas just for the convenience. And, you know, it can be hard sometimes to get those traditional ones all tight. All right, so JNYC265, I just bought a snowboard and bindings. Can you do a video on putting on the bindings on the board from start to finish? Yeah, I already have a few videos on the channel like that. So maybe on the channel, type in snowboard setup or snowboard stance. You're even just on YouTube. How to set up a snowboard stance. There's definitely a few videos on the channel already about that. I think I made one about that just like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, check it out. And Adam Bad Rider says, I love my boas. My new setup, my new step-on setup has the Photon boas, and having just finished my first season going back. Somebody, Adam loves the boas. So yeah, some people love them. And Gideon says, looking for a wide board. Yeah, check out TJ. TJ just put up a top 5 list a couple of days ago of his top 5 favorite wide boards. So maybe check that out. And T Money, do you have any tips for overcoming fear and sending it? Yeah, actually I do have a video about that too, about how to build confidence in snowboarding. But I think it's just about, it's really about progressing by, like let's say if you're afraid of a jump, then you just gotta build up to it. You gotta put in as many steps to help get you there. And yeah, it can be tough for sure to build it up. But if it is a jump, it's just, yeah, progressing by, you know, working on your ollies, working on side hits, maybe finding some smaller jumps to hit before that. And then, you know, taking a look at that large jump, watching other people hit it, maybe jumping off the knuckle of it a few times. And then once you build up your skills, watch other people, get advice, take your time, do all those kinds of things. Find a day too. I feel like when you find a day to progress, that where the snow is good and like, I don't know, maybe it's like clear skies and visually you can see everything, those are the days where you can kind of like start to push your riding a little bit. Pushing your riding and like trying to overcome your fear on a day when the snow is sketchy is just going to kind of set you up for failure. So having all those things come together with putting in the time, the effort, and making sure you're timing it right, then I think that's the best way to overcome the fears. And Jason Nelson says, do you use the training board from Snowboard Addiction? Yeah, actually I've used it quite a bit over this last year. I've probably made like a dozen videos with it and probably been on it like 40 or 50 times. I find that, yeah, it's just like a fun thing to do off the hill, just to, maybe get some exercise in or work on a trick that you want to try. Definitely recommend the Snowboard Addiction training board. Those guys, they're in Whistler too, a bunch of cool dudes. Always like seeing them and hanging out. And yeah, they've hooked me up with the Snowboard Addiction, the trampoline board and the training board, and I love using it, especially when Bounce Whistler was open and we could go down there and use the training boards on the trampolines. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely recommend the Snowboard Addiction bar for sure. Yeah, it's a great thing. And Dick Kickham, good name, man. Says, what's your worst injury? So my worst injury is actually the same as TJ's, is when I landed on my shoulder and separated my AC joint in there. And mine was worse than TJ's. I think I had like a level 3 separation. TJ's just got between a 1 and 2, but that was the worst. Thanks for reminding me. John says, what daily driving snowboard do you recommend? Daily driver, it kind of depends. If you're more into the park, I'd recommend the Capita DOA. If you're more into just all mountain, I'd recommend the Burton Deep Thinker. And that's why I bought those 2 boards, because those are the ones I would recommend. And Matt Kirk says, what is the best balaclava? So the best balaclava, I actually made my top 5 accessory videos a few days ago, and it's around here somewhere. Oh, it's up there. But it's the black strap face mask. So yeah, check that out. Black strap. There's actually a link below. So I've got my whole gear list linked below, or most of it, and the black strap face mask is linked down there. So that one, it's just like a comfortable face mask. I think you can buy, there's a few different, at least 2 different ones. One's thinner, kind of for all conditions, and then you have a bit of a thicker one for really cold temperatures. But yeah, it's just made, and there's a hinge so that the upper half of your head and the lower half, you can kind of move it quite easily. And the black strap face mask, it comes in like dozens of different colors and styles. So that's been my favorite. And L Stacker Adventure says, hit that like button. Oh, awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. Osvaldo says, how's TJ doing from his shoulder injury? Yeah, I think he's coming along. So I guess he injured it like 4 days ago, and yesterday on our trip home, he was mentioning that it was feeling better. I think is still like a little bit inflamed, and you can feel that there's some, like bruising in there. But I think overall he's feeling better. And Reds Cap, Kevin, just saw Chris Icon pass. Just my thoughts. It's better to get the top up mountain for the season pass, just in case accident or emergency happen, you can get something back. Yeah, so getting insurance on your pass, yeah, if that's always a good thing. Just in case you have an injury or for whatever reason you can't use your season's pass, it can be good to get some insurance on it. And here's a Deco Stro 4508. Winged high backs, yay or nay? I would say yay. Give them a try. I kind of wish I had got the winged high backs this year. If you guys don't know, so it's basically the high back of the binding. It's kind of like got it comes around your ankle a little bit, sort of like winged, I guess. Not your ankle, but more of I guess it's like your calf, down there. So basically when you go to press your board, your nose and tail, you can use that winged part. You can press against it a little bit, or in powder too, I guess. It allows you to kind of put some pressure onto the tail or nose of your board by using those wings. Mikey Coin says, do you like Guinness? Yeah, I've had a couple of Guinnesses in my life, and yeah, they're pretty tasty, I guess. Kind of depends on the mood, but Guinness is nice. And Mr. Easy Living 08, what size were your Burton Ions versus your 32 Team 2s? So my Team 2s are size 10, and my Burton Ions were a 9.5. Yeah, that's what it was. Hamish, how many boards do you have? I think I have maybe 10 boards, but I'm gonna try to sell some. And Haley, is Whistler expensive rent-wise? Yeah, it's probably one of the most expensive places to live, and there's no end in sight. So it's getting more and more expensive, less and less places to live. And I wish they would, I wish they would just allow more building in Whistler. I want Whistler to be big. And if people want to live somewhere small, a small ski resort town, then you'll just have to move somewhere else, somewhere small. But Whistler wants to be big. Everyone wants to come here. Everyone wants to live here. So it's just making the prices go up and up and up. Yeah, one thing, guys. So tonight, I'm actually going to be uploading a video from the Stubai Glacier. It's I think the title is going to be the best/worst day of snowboarding. So it's kind of an interesting video. And there's a new feature on YouTube, which is called YouTube Premiere. So I'm actually going to be uploading it with this new Premiere feature, which allows you guys to chat while for the first run of the video. So it's going to be scheduled. Keep an eye on that. So if you guys haven't yet, subscribe and hit the bell. Then you'll get a notification when I upload this video. But it's a pretty cool new thing on YouTube where, yeah, you can schedule your upload, and then yeah, it allows everyone that watches it at that first upload time to like chat with each other before and after the video. And I think I'm gonna be on there talking to you guys, and also I'll see if TJ and maybe Chris too, we'll get everyone sort of on there chatting. But yeah, it's a new YouTube feature. It's called YouTube Premiere. And yeah, I'm gonna do that for the next upload. So check that out tonight. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's the very first time I'm trying this out. I think it's a brand new feature on YouTube, and it should be fun to chat with you guys on the side of the video while that the premiere of the video is going up. So I'm gonna be doing that tonight. So if you guys want to watch the video and chat, then look out for the premiere going on tonight. All right, so we'll get to a few more, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the likes, everyone that did a super chat. Thank you guys so much. Over 100 people watching the entire time. That's pretty amazing. And yeah, I hope you guys are all getting ready for the snowboard season, at least in North America. Everyone in the southern hemisphere, sorry, the northern hemisphere. Everyone in the southern hemisphere. I hope you guys had a good season, and yeah, come up to the northern hemisphere for a snowboard trip. And so Robert says, just got the 2019 Warpig. What is a good stance to set it at? It kind of depends. It depends on you and your style of riding. If you are mainly going to be riding it in one direction, then set the stance back a little bit. Or if you're planning on taking it into the park a little bit more, then maybe set up that stance a bit more centered. And McTan Job, another good YouTube name, says, hell yeah, getting all new gear this year from Southern Ontario. Awesome, man. Exciting stuff. And Snowboard Heart Lover says, how did you start Snowboard Pro Camp? I just started it by making some YouTube videos. Tried to think of a name that I thought was kind of like a fun name that people would recognize snowboarding from. And yeah, Snowboard Pro Camp, I just had the idea of like making it like an online camp where like instead of people showing up to the mountain to ride with like a pro or an instructor, they could, yeah, just watch online, learn about snowboarding, whether it's beginner, advanced tricks, or about the gear, and then, yeah, just have it all online. So that's where it came from. And I started making videos in 2011. All right, let's do one more. And Alex, Kevin, how big of a jump should I look for my first 540? It kind of depends. I think if you're comfortable doing 360s on, you know, find the jump where you're comfortable doing 360s and add that extra 180 in. You don't need like a really big jump, but like a medium-sized jump that you're doing 360s on, you're able to also add in the 540 for sure. I used to do 540s just like off of like a side hit. So if you can do them off a side hit, then you can do them off a medium-sized jump, no problem. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for the last 71 minutes. Yeah, stay tuned. Gonna have that video premiere tonight. So if you guys wanna watch that, definitely hit the bell and yeah, look out for the first ever YouTube premiere for Snowboard Pro Camp. I hope it works. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a great start to your season. Links below if you guys need any gear. Get a small commission through those links. And yeah, thanks again for all the support, guys. You guys rock. And gonna get this video up and get a good night, early sleep tonight. A little bit jet lagged. All right, thanks for watching. Have fun out there, guys. We'll see you in the next one soon.